Hi everyone, I'd like to welcome you to tonight's webinar, High Quality Vocabulary Development in the Classroom. This is Julie Burke, a JP Associate School Improvement Specialist with RTP. After tonight's webinar, a link to the recorded webinar will be sent to you, along with the handouts of the slides and the instructional routines and any of the other tools that are reviewed during the webinar. Tonight I want to share with you strategies that are research and evidence-based. The approaches I'll be guiding you through work across all domains, not just in ELA, and with any grade level. Your RTP coaches will be reinforcing these strategies and providing support in the upcoming coaching visits. They'll model or co-teach the strategies with you and help you assess student achievement by assisting with creating assessments and analyzing results to determine next steps in your instruction. This is the road we're traveling tonight. First is a quick review of the importance of direct, explicit vocabulary instruction. And next we'll explore 5 simple steps for effective vocabulary instruction. Then we'll look at various ways to assess understanding. And finally we'll review some pointers for helping students to automatically utilize vocabulary strategies. So how should it be taught? Vocabulary should be taught using an explicit, systematic instructional approach. In other words, direct, explicit instruction. This graph represents a study by Stahl and Fairbanks, and it shows the same student placing at the 50th percentile in reading comprehension with no direct vocabulary instruction, placed at the 83rd percentile when provided specific vocabulary instruction. So this is all about spending time with the words of your topic. It's going to result in better recall, better spelling, more understanding of the meaning, and better links between the known words and the new words you're presenting. So spending time with the words is really learning the key concepts that you want your students to know from the written text. It's in your interest as a teacher to invest the time with the words. So vocabulary instruction is important. It seems simple enough, doesn't it? Well, unfortunately, there remains a gap between implementing effective vocabulary instruction and what often takes place in the classroom. So now we're going to take a look at some of the activities and examples of ways that we can easily do this. And remember, we're going to keep it simple and use a common sense approach. According to E.D. Hirsch and Stephen Stahl, the growth of word knowledge is slow and incremental, requiring multiple exposures to the words. And this doesn't mean simply repeating the word and a definition over and over or synonyms over and over, but seeing the word in different contexts. How are words learned incrementally over multiple exposures? Well, every time we encounter a word in context, we remember something about that word. And as we encounter that word repeatedly, more and more information accumulates about that word until we have a vague notion of what it means. Here's a quick, simple activity. Give the students 3 familiar contexts in which the word is used, and then ask them to talk about what is common about the 3 examples. So we say the fish live in a watery environment. In the lizard's dry environment, there is little vegetation. Our environment is changing as more and more factories release waste into the air. So then we talk about what what they see is common about these 3 examples, and then ask them to tell you what they think the word environment means. This is a vocabulary instructional routine that JP trains and coaches with our teachers. Some of you may have been given this already by your coach, but we will be implementing it in all grade levels to provide a consistent instructional routine for all students. It's in a format based on Dr. Anita Archer's explicit instruction structure, and it goes hand in hand with Marzano's research and strategies. And you'll go through a simple, consistent cycle of introducing the word, presenting a student-friendly definition, illustrating the words with examples and non-examples, and then checking the student's understanding. Now we'll move to step 2 of the instructional routine, and this is introducing the meaning of the word. present a student-friendly definition. You don't want to go to the dictionary and then, you provide words that then you'll, again, you may have to provide some definitions for those words additionally. So keep it really simple so that they understand it. First, tell the students the definition or the explanation, or have the students read the explanation with you. So when two lines are an equal distance apart and will never cross, they are parallel. Then get it back from your students. So if two lines are equal distance apart and never cross, we can say they are, and then have the students respond. There's many online resources to help you formulate these student-friendly definitions, and these are just a few. And again, when I send the link to the recorded webinar and all of the handouts, we'll include this so that you can have this resource. Moving on to step 3 of the instructional routine is illustrate the word with lots of examples. Use concrete examples. You could simply draw parallel lines on the board and point to two parallel lines in the classroom, like the top and the bottom of the window, and show them how they're parallel. So lots of visual examples, verbal examples, pictures, as the example on the screen. Train tracks are parallel. They are equal distance apart and will never cross. Two chopsticks that are set side by side and equal distance apart are parallel. So remember, use varied contexts. Next, we're going to check the student's understanding, and one option is asking the deep processing questions, those higher order questions. Asking the students to distinguish between parallel and perpendicular lines instead of just describing parallel lines. It helps to build their understanding better and gives you more information of what they know. If they have to distinguish between two different things, they have to apply both their knowledge of both concepts to do so.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I am so happy to see you today. Let's remind ourselves about SLANT. S is for
sit up.
L is for
Listen.
A is for
ask and answer questions.
Oh, I can hear you perfectly. N is for
nod.
And T is for
Track the speaker.
Let's try the track the speaker routine. Oh my gosh, you guys are really good. 10 stars on your star chart. Okay. We are going to go over our learning targets. I will read them to you so you know what we're going to be working on today. The first learning target is, I can use place value to understand numerals in a multi-digit number. We're going to be working on that today. I can fluently multiply and divide by 10. We'll be doing some multiplication and division. I can demonstrate understanding of the following terms: place value, unit form, and standard form. So that's what we're going to be working on today, and we're going to get ready for our first activity. We're going to work on the place value chart.
Excuse me, I want to interrupt you for just a minute. I really like the fact that you have your learning targets posted on the board and that you reviewed them with the students. The next step in really making that meaningful would be to engage them a little more with the targets. I think one way you could engage them more would be to have them read each target after you. Let me show you what I mean. I'll read the first one. I can use place value to understand numerals in a multi-digit number. Everybody, read that target. Get ready.
I can use place value to understand numerals in a multi-digit number.
Would you like to go on with the other two targets?
Sure, my turn to read the second target. I can fluently multiply and divide by 10. Your turn. Get ready.
I can fluently multiply and divide by 10.
Excellent reading. Next one. I can demonstrate understanding of the following terms. Your turn. Read that much.
I can demonstrate understanding of the following terms.
Let's read the terms. First term.
Place value.
Place value. Next term.
Unit form.
Unit form. Next term.
Standard form.
Beautiful reading.
Excellent. I want to commend your students on how well they all answered, and all answered in unison. So the first step in engaging them more in the learning targets would be to have them read them after you read them. The next step in engaging them would be to challenge them to think about ways that those learning targets will impact their lives or be a part of their real lives.
Okay.
Let me do the first one and then I'll pass it back to
Excellent.
you. I can use place value to understand numerals in a multi-digit number. If you can think of a way that might be a part of your life or might be helpful to you in real life, would you give me a quiet thumb up close?
Like when we get older, we get a bank account.
When you get older and have a bank account, yes. When you have a checking account, you have to subtract each check you write and keep track of how much money you have in that account. That would be very important. Good for you. Can any of you think of other reasons why knowing how to use place value would be helpful? Yes.
You can check on the number and save numbers to see how many are.
Yes, you can check numbers. Good. Would you like to go ahead with the next two learning targets? And what I'd like to see is engage the students in how it will be helpful to them. Make it real world for them.
Okay.